We are now on our way back to Barcelona, back home, after going and looking at 4 different properties. I can't say it's made the decision any easier for us on whether we want to move out to the countryside here or stay in Barcelona or maybe go back to the UK. It's definitely given us a lot to think about, hasn't it?
Yeah.
We're Danny and Kate. 5 years ago, we left the UK to start a new chapter of our lives together in Barcelona. We've enjoyed the busy city, sunny beaches and the snow-capped mountains, but it's time for a new adventure. We're on the hunt for a piece of land in the Spanish countryside to build an off-grid tiny house and start a homestead. Follow along as we build our dream life together.
We're just driving on our way to go to see some properties this morning. So we're down in the south of Catalonia, and the first place that we're going to go and meet the kind of first estate agent is going to be in a little town called Benifallet. It's kind of up in the mountain a little bit and really close to the River Ebro. And yeah, we're just going to go and see a couple of properties around there. We've told them the type of thing that we're looking for, and today is just a bit of a kind of investigation to see what's available. We are now on our way back to Barcelona, back home, after going and looking at 4 different properties. I can't say it's made the decision any easier for us. It's definitely given us a lot to think about, hasn't it?
Yeah.
They were 4 very different properties. So the first one was kind of the best, and he wanted to show us what a little bit more than our budget could afford. So this side here is around about 20 meters squared. It then has a second area through here. So inside this second area, obviously it's very overgrown at the moment, but there's another room here of around about 20 square meters as well. And then there's also this further area here that could be like kitchen, whatever. This can actually all be enclosed up to that wall there. And so it's probably around about 60 square meters or 70 square meters in total. With the first one, it was very easy to connect up to the kind of mains of the local water source. From the house here, there's the access to the kind of like local water. So just through here, you can see like a little grey hut. This is the like local water source, so if you want to connect to that, you can. So the good thing about this property is that there's not actually a restriction on using that water, because it doesn't need to go through any of the neighbours' land. So one of the things that he was just explaining is that sometimes it's difficult to get water connected if you want to have water and not be completely off-grid with like a cisterna or something, because if you use the water from here, then you normally have to get permission from anybody's land that it goes through in order to say, okay, I'd like to put a line in, please, and that's going to disturb people's land as it passes through. But because here there's no neighbours, basically between the kind of water hut here and then the house here, all of the land in between would be the land of this property, and therefore there's no restriction, there's no necessity to ask neighbours for permission to put in a line. You can just do it. There may possibly be a well here, we're not too sure. On Google Maps it does show that there might be a river that goes reasonably close, or like a small estuary that comes off the bigger river, but here there seems to be a kind of dug out section where perhaps this is an old unused well, so that would be good if there was water on the land. This property here has a lot of different types of trees. It's got like olive trees here. These olive trees look like they probably need a little bit of love and attention. There's a lot of things growing actually, although the land looks relatively dry right now. There's a lot of greenery and there's a lot of like lush ground. So yeah, I think it's definitely possible to grow quite a lot here. And there's also big open spaces as well. So these kind of spaces around here would be pretty good for running chickens, big open flat spaces where we could have like chicken tractors and move those along daily. Then we went to go and see something that was only 10,000 euros, but very, very remote, really difficult to get to, small little dirt track.
Very difficult to get to. Yeah.
Literally in the middle of the mountain. No views, no vistas, no kind of beautiful landscapes in that sense. Very beautiful to drive through and to get to, but very difficult land to work.
There's a big kind of plot area size here. There's also one behind it, behind that tree. There's a small section down past the house that way, and then up through here there's another area. It's a lot more overgrown and a lot more trees, so there's obviously a lot more work to be done to clear it and make it manageable. But the land area is quite a lot bigger. It's almost 25,000 square meters, which is about just over 5 acres, probably about 5.5 acres, something like that. And it goes all the way kind of up into the mountain area here, and all the way through here as well. This is the difference between a 25,000 plot and a 10,000 plot, 10,000 euros that is. So this is the size of the house. This is the house completely. It's probably about 30 square meters, more or less, or 25 square meters, but that's it, just this small section and a tiny little like hobbit door to get in.
There was a lot of land with it, but actual usable land was probably about a quarter that was terraced, and the rest of it was mountainside, steep mountainside.
Yeah, I think it would have been quite difficult to actually do what we wanted to do with the land and have animals. So then we went to go and see two more that were closer to Beni Fayed, actually up in the mountains, incredible views, lots and lots of terracing already done of the land, but definitely a lot of work needed.
This is the third property up near Beni Fayed. It's kind of in the mountain behind, and it includes all of this terracing. Not actually sure how many hectares it is. There's probably 2 or 3 hectares, so maybe about 5 acres or so that is possible to cultivate, because it has this kind of terracing. But it's really beautiful, and it actually includes all of that mountain area as well. It's basically the very end of a track up the mountain. So there's no neighbours, there's no kind of additional people coming to this section here. So basically as much as you can see is included in this property. This land here is also included, so you can see that it's a really big plot actually. There's a lot that you could do with this. On the kind of terraced areas are also, you know, there's plenty of lush trees and things growing around here. And then, yeah, the casa is just here behind this big olive tree. It's poking out the corner there. So this one here is around about 35 square meters, and with all of the land outside, it's 25,000 euros. There's a lot of land, and it doesn't have any water, so we would need to sort out probably like a cisterna or something like that, because it's not possible to have a line put in. We're too far away from the town, from the kind of connection to the pueblo. So we would have to think about, yeah, probably having off-grid water, plenty of solar, etc., etc. And the piece de resistance is that absolutely stunning view of the mountains. I mean, look at that. That's just incredible.
Yeah. The lands were terraced, but there wasn't soil. So in the first property there was actual soil that you could imagine grass and like pasture or whatever to grow, whereas the other one, the third and the fourth, were what they called montaña, which is mountain. So it was just like small stones really. And then there was in some of the terraces, I think it was the fourth one, it looked slightly better.
Where the land had already been kind of worked
into a terrace, yeah, it kind of looked like it had previously grown something.
There's a lot of land, obviously some of it is very steep and would need working quite a lot. But there is plenty of things growing here. It's quite lush ground. The land includes all this section here behind the house. There's, behind the car there's 4 terraces that go back into the distance. You just see them there. Those 4 terraces are all included. And then all of this section round by this side of the house. A beautiful view down into the valley there. Again, we're close to Beni Fayed. And then on this side here there's a section that could all be terraced, and then down this path the other side of this valley here is included as well.
The third and the fourth are quite close to each other, and there was a having seen the road on the second one, the road wasn't so bad for the third and fourth, but you'd still need a tractor to level out the last, I don't know, couple of 100 yards.
Yeah.
Back to where the actual house was.
So there's this outside space, but actually this can be enclosed. So this would be kind of one room here. And then the big olive tree here next to it. And then inside the house. So there's kind of 4 separated rooms already. And obviously the roof is going to need redoing, but it's a sloping roof on both sides. There's a fireplace here in the corner, existing, and outside there's also a well.
And the water was a different situation with the last 2 as well. With the very last one there was a small well where there was the snake.
It's more like a water catchment,
yeah,
rather than a well. There's a snake in the well.
Okay. Okay. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there is literally a snake right there in the water.
It was definitely an interesting day seeing the 4 different properties and seeing how much they vary in terms of like the different land that's available and the different landscape that's available, the different sizes of the houses.
Yeah. I mean the prices were, apart from the cheap one, they were more or less the same.
Yeah.
But they each tick different boxes.
So yeah, a lot to think about on the way back home now. And I think we'll be heading back to that region probably within the next couple of weeks, and probably go to see some more and try and find out maybe what we can get for in between the 2 costs that we were looking at today, or what other ones are available. We also have another contact that we're going to work with who we spoke to earlier last week, and hopefully we can go and kind of meet her and see some of the properties that she has, and yeah, just get more of a feel for what's available in the area.
And the noise that you can hear in the background is our new toy.